Welcome back, GOAT fans, to another episode of the greatest of all time podcast show, GOAT Radio. I'm the big man, and I'm completely jacked up to be back in the goatrage with some beauties. Nucci's joining us here.
Yeah, we're back in here. It's always great. I always feel like, it's nice to be back here, but it always is, man. It was cool to see our two new guests here. Their eyes light up when they walked in the room.
For sure, and I always say this. Go Radio is associated with complete legends, and we got two in the Garage Mahal. I'm so pumped to welcome Mark Coletta.
How you doing, brother?
And Jovan Matic.
What's going on, man?
What's up, boys? Like Nucci said, how did it feel to walk into the Goat Rush here and be surrounded by just complete history here?
Honestly, I saw pictures of it and stuff on Instagram, but when you walk in, it's a lot. Like, it kind of takes your breath away a little bit, all the stuff you have in here, the legends everywhere. It's kind of funny because we grew up with most of these guys here, same generation, right? So it's like a trip down memory lane with the Pavel Bure, with all the wrestling stuff, all that stuff. So it's a really cool setup you got here.
Yeah, Fanucci has been telling me about it, and obviously some other friends, and watching you guys online. But it's cool. It's quite surreal. You walk in here, you're in a time warp, and then there's updated stuff, and it's awesome. Like, the jerseys are awesome. It's a very cool spot.
Speaking of jerseys, it's what we do here. We say what jerseys we're wearing. Nucci, why don't you start off for us?
I got my college jersey, Alaska Fairbanks, the Nanuks. I got my 39. It's actually a funny story.
Hold on. Is it Nanuks or Nanuks?
I don't know. Nanuks, I think. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, fan, I guess, from back in the day up there. This was just a couple years ago. I graduated 11 years ago, but hit me up on Facebook, and they're like, hey, I have this jersey. I won it at a raffle or something back when you were playing. Was digging out my closet and found it. If it means something to you or anything, I'll send it to you, and otherwise I'll probably just donate it or something. So, yeah, I got him to send it to me. It was great, and he probably just realized that I didn't end up making it anywhere, so it wasn't worth anything for him. So, but no, it's cool to have it because I only have my white one from senior year, so it's cool to have this one and the Nike too. They don't really make a lot of Nike stuff anymore.
Mark, what's this red Cardinal jersey you got on there?
Yeah, this is albeit Division III, but Plattsburgh State, upstate New York, where I played for a bunch of years and had some fun, and obviously won a national title in one of those years. So, yeah, it's one of the third jerseys we wore towards my sophomore, or actually our senior year. We got these ones. We had the old retro jerseys, but changed.
And we got to highlight 2001 inductee, Plattsburgh Hall of Fame Athletics.
Yeah, the whole team, not just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a good bunch of guys. We all went there last year in January to.
Just move into the mic, brother.
We went in there last January for a ceremony, and it was pretty cool to get back and see all the old guys.
Awesome. Yoki.
Mm-hmm.
The white and the green.
The original Silver Tips jersey is on our inaugural season. I was there for the first year. This is our home jersey. It brings back a lot of memories. You see, got the Memorial Cup patch, actually. Going back, we are still, to this day, we're the best ever expansion team in the CHL. Like, we broke every record, most wins, won the Western Conference. We actually beat the Kelowna Rockets in the Western Conference Finals, and they went on to win the Memorial Cup that year because they were hosting it. So kind of got to hose it a little bit. I kind of say we're the ipso facto national champions.
How did you guys, are you guys like the Vegas? You guys got the expansion situation?
Basically, we're like the original Vegas Golden Knights before they were the Vegas Golden Knights, but except town's not as great. Everett's still great, don't get me wrong, but it's not Las Vegas. Not even close.
It's a nice jersey, though.
I like it. It's very good. So,
and we'll definitely talk about Everett a little bit more later in the pod because you have a pretty sweet story with them. First game. We'll get into it, though, okay? But, Mark, long-time head coach of the SFU Red Leafs hockey squad.
Yes, sir.
What a ride it's been. When did you take over?
Well, it would have been 2000, I would say 8, maybe 7 or 8. And actually these two fellas would come out and skate with us while they were going, getting ready for pro seasons and would come out just before they would leave to go play pro. But Yeah, it's been a long time. I did a couple years coaching in the BCHL with Surrey and some other minor hockey stuff, and then just fell into this SFU gig, and it's been now it's 2023. So yeah, it's been a while.
Well, it's been pretty nuts. Like you guys are sending some shockwaves in North America. Can we talk about some of the games you've played in the last couple weeks, months here? You guys played at Big Ten school,
Yeah,
and a lot more coming this year.
yeah. I mean, last year we did the Alaska stuff. I think we played them a total of 5 or 6 times. Actually, Carlo came up to his old alumni in Fairbanks, and that was a good trip to bring some guys up there with us. And we've been doing the NCAA games for a while, although not much success. But we've been doing that to elevate the program, bring recruits in, show that there's something different than just our league that we played in here. And so this year came about, and we decided to elevate our schedule, keep a team in the BCIHL, which is considered club hockey, but keep a team and elevate it to the next level, so to speak. But Michigan on the schedule this year, huge game for us as a program, for our guys, for our alumni, all the guys before, the guys who are currently here. Colorado College. We were at Lake State last week, and Robert Morris this week. And, we still got a couple ones to go, and then obviously a couple big ones in January with BU and BC, which when you can hit Michigan, BU, and BC on 1 year schedule, I mean, talking to Largen at Fairbanks this past year, he said, shit, we don't even have those kind of teams on our schedule at 1 year.
I was going to say, those are GOAT-worthy programs. Like, insane.
Yeah, I played against Michigan. Obviously, they're in our conference when I was playing college hockey, and what an atmosphere it was then, and I can only imagine it now. You got to experience that, and BU, Boston College, we played them in the national tournament, Boston College, but never at their arena, and never played BU. So those are going to be some unbelievable tests and experiences for you guys and all the team.
Where do you guys pull your players from? Like for that, like are they BCJ, WHL guys, or just a mix of everything?
Oh, that's a good point there. When you were coming to skate with us, and Carlo back in the day, most of our guys were either high-end junior B guys. The odd junior A guy would actually fall into our lap, and it would be like, great, this kid's a good player, and that's great. Over the years, we again playing these games and elevating the program, and now for the most part, most of our guys are junior A guys right through Canada. We have 3 D1 transfers.
Oh, wow.
We try to stay away from the WHL kids because, if something ever happened, I don't want to have to tell these kids there's no place for you to play.
Yeah.
But we do have one.
Are you saying that for eligibility reasons?
Yeah, I mean, if something happened, I know Lindenwood and obviously Arizona State a handful of years ago, LIU just did it. If in a club setting, you can still have a major junior kid play. And all of a sudden Lindenwood makes the jump, or Arizona State makes the jump to D1. Now those kids got nowhere to go. A perfect example too is sometimes it just those players aren't ready to make that jump to D1 that you have. So you have to recruit a whole new bunch of guys. But to answer your question, Yoki, it's definitely different than it was. Yeah. Like I said, 3 D1 transfers, Ontario Junior A, Alberta Junior A. It's definitely a different dynamic now. Okay. What we're doing.
So saying that, what's the goal here? Down the road, couple years down the road, what are you guys pushing for?
Yeah, I mean, it's above my pay grade to make any of these decisions, right? Like I don't get paid to do that. I think we're trying to build something a little bit unique and different. And it's easy to say that you'd like to be where you want to be, and that would be NCAA Division I. That's, again, not my decision. The school happens to be an NCAA school, and you're in a hockey hotbed here in Vancouver, in Burnaby, BC, wherever you want to say. Alberta's right there. The Western United States players that you could pull from. The competitive angle that you would get, and I think Carlos saw it firsthand when he saw our group play against a D1 team. We're not recruiting at that level. The bottom line is, again, it's not my decision. I can only coach these kids, hope they get a great education, to come in to play good hockey, and hopefully teach them something about life when they move on from hockey right now. But the big picture would be, playing at that level would be tremendous. I mean, like Carlo mentioned, Yost Arena. You're standing there behind, 4,000 people. The student section's right behind you. It's real. It's a real unique experience when you're there.
That's one kind of cool thing. If you guys didn't get the team eventually, is to have that atmosphere where it's like, I went to the other side. I went to the Western League, but to have that atmosphere of college is like something completely different. Like even I was talking to Milan, who's like my cousin basically. I remember he went to Division 1 and he was trying to tell me when I was 15. He's like, "Yuck, you gotta go to college." I was like, "No, I'm gonna go to the W." He's like, "You don't understand how sick it is, man."
Yeah.
And he's telling me, I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're kind of full of it." Then my sister went to visit him and she came back. She's like, those stories Mickey told us about him doing this, him doing that, like doing all this stuff. I'm like, guys, like, no, he wasn't lying. Like he was telling me stories like there's pictures of him with Kid Rock and then with Eminem and then what was that girl from American Pie?
Tara Reid.
Yeah. And like he's like in a medal and he had
I think she was at the Roxy a couple times.
Yeah. But my sister's like, no, he's not. He was actually being 100% genuine on that.
Well,
right?
And it's not only, I think it's just Americana.
Yeah.
It's universities, soccer, basketball, whatever you're at. Like we were in a small town in Plattsburgh.
Yeah.
And Carlos met some of my buddies. You've met some of my buddies that would come out, and obviously Mick has as well. But when you're in these small towns or the schools, the atmosphere of these schools, that's their whole life for people that live in those towns. And when my wife Sadie came and visited, or we went to Plattsburgh a bunch of years ago after I was done, she couldn't believe it. She's like, "Holy shit, this is Plattsburgh." I'm like, "Yeah," and it was like all the stories we said and told. They're embellished a bit. Obviously, they get better as you get older, and maybe when you're drunk. But she's like, "Yeah, shit, that's true." Like those the people in Plattsburgh, and I know Fanucci or you at Michigan Tech, Milos, like they probably that's what they have. That they you look at college football in the States, like those.
That's massive.
It's massive, right? Yeah. So it's different. It's a different kind of fan experience,
and that's what people might, will say, or I've heard is, you won't get that here. It's not a college atmosphere. That's not what Canada's known for. That's not what the universities are like. But you don't even really need that. That will come, I think. But just the draw of NCAA hockey now, and how much more, like you said, you had no idea about it when you were in Mick's telling you to go there. Yeah. Now it's like kids, like it's a really great avenue for the next level.
You look at the Canucks right now. Quinn Hughes and Besser are two of the most marketable guys, young guys on that team, and they're both NCAA guys. Yeah. You're telling me SFU students, UBC students don't know who they are? They damn well know who they are, and if they're at your school, that's a big win, right?
And the thing is too, like there is no. I know it's Americana. It kind of comes with the territory. There's a lot of more small towns that have the college, but there's no reason why they can't recreate this in Canada, especially like hockey. Like it sounds bad, but you throw like cheap beer like on a Friday, Saturday night and get the student section to fill it up, right? And they'll love it. It's not. It is just a place to go. Like I know UBC is kind of a different animal, but even if you go there, like that's a college, right? And if you had a hockey team there that was, or even SFU, whatever it is, you create this thing that would be so marketable, and people would love to come watch that. Especially like you see. Like I know it took off at down in Arizona. Like that's not a hockey town, but like you get kids, like a lot of kids, like the Kyle Turses. He'd probably would want to stay home and play Division I hockey. Like you can recruit a lot of great players to come to your program who are local, right? So
I think it's again, SFU is an NCAA school. They're the only one in Canada. We're in Canada. Hockey's hockey. I mean, shit, I would venture, I guess lacrosse would do pretty damn well too. So I mean, that's another. We don't want to unwrap anything there.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, keep doing what you're doing. When's the next game?
We're off this week. We go to LIU, which is Long Island University, the American Thanksgiving. So we're in New York City for a couple of days, which will be cool for our guys. We play a D1 team in LIU who just did the same thing that Lindenwood did. They made the jump from D3 or club hockey, actually, not even D3, club hockey straight to D1. Their women's program's pretty good too. Yeah. I think that's another qualifier too. If you went men's hockey,
you gotta get
the women's hockey is huge. I mean, the talent pool we have here in BC alone, you'd be I think there's a stat for almost 400 of the 1,100 women's NCAA hockey players are from Canada.
Are your boys having a blast?
They love it.
This is amazing thing.
I gotta say this. It was a cool experience. Like the one thing I took away already is just the difference in how you got to be prepared, how you got to get the guys motivated, the teaching. I got Jim Camazola, former Italian national guy, 2 Olympic games, was drafted by the Blackhawks, knows hockey inside out. I would put him up against any coach in BC any day of the week. And I got Jason Krog working with me, a Hobie Baker winner. And the guys love him when he's on the ice. I can only surround myself with people that are more knowledgeable than me. I mean, if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong bloody room. And so what I have to do is make sure I can do my job, but have guys that can teach the game a little bit better. And they're loving it, and they're playing high competition. The one cool thing, Big Man, was Red Berenson came and said hi to me. We were down in the coach's room before the Michigan game. He didn't have to come down and say hi. Yeah. I know Narada was dealing with a lot of stuff that weekend too, so he was kind of out of the thing. But when Red Berenson comes down, shakes my hand and Jimmy's hand and says, "You know what? I just love what you guys are doing." That's a hockey icon. Yeah. Canada, USA, NCAA, NHL. Like Red Berenson had the decency to come down, shake our hand, say he loves what we're doing. He's heard about SFU before. He's been to, it was a real cool experience. Not to mention, I coached Ben Winnett. Went to Michigan. I'm great friends with Geitch and obviously Peach that's in town now and Mike Legg. They're friends of mine. They're all Michigan guys. I wasn't good enough to play
Michigan.
Mike
man.
Legg,
the Michigan. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna get him on pretty quick. Talk about the greatest goal ever.
Yeah, that all the kids are trying to do now.
He's
And
fighting,
every chance they
fires.
get.
He's fighting fires right now.
Did he bring up Mick when you saw him?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I said I'm good friends with a couple year old players, and he was so responsive. He was just a genuinely nice man, and it was cool. 2 of my Plattsburgh buddies drove down from Toronto, came down, and they came down to the back room there. I don't know how they snuck in because there's security everywhere at these games, but Jeff and Kemp came down, and they're right there. There's Red Berenson shaking our hands, saying hi. It was a great experience. But to answer your question, the guys love it. I mean, a couple of weeks ago or last week we were in Robert Morris, and it's in Pittsburgh. You get downtown Pittsburgh, you see the rink, the Mary Lemieux statue. We're at the Pittsburgh Steeler game, a couple of us. Our goalie, Cale Dolan, is a big Steeler fan, so I gave him the green light. Yeah. And it's a cool experience seeing all these things. Not to mention, when you're playing a sport, it doesn't have to be hockey, and you guys all know this. When you're balancing social, your life, mom and dad, girlfriend, whatever it is, school, academics, you need a release. I beat the shit out of these guys 4 or 5 days a week on the ice. Yeah. Let's be honest. We skate, you've seen us practice, Carlo, and we skate. We were skating when we were a true club team, and we still skate. Yeah. That's what Bobby Emery did to us. We skated, and I think there's no better way to have a release than to be playing these games for these guys. They're having a great time.
It's awesome.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Time.
It's cool. It's getting to see all these things. The flights are even not bad.
Do you know what I wonder how your boys adjusted. Have they played on the big ice yet?
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
Well, last year when we were there.
Oh, Alaska's big ice?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
It's an ocean.
How do you think I survived?
Listen, I didn't even know big ice was in my at the time I went to the WCHA, Michigan Tech.
Half the schools, no?
Half the schools are big ice, man.
I thought only Minnesota was. That's what I thought. Because I remember Choco went there, and I was like,
fucking CC was
Northern.
It's even
but
bigger.
CC's got the new rink now. Oh, they used to play at the Olympic size. Yeah.
Okay.
Northern is too?
Yeah.
That's where Santa went, right?
Yeah.
Most of honestly, I was grinding. The
big man was grinding, eh?
Honestly, I was this NHL size for me, man, and it was adjustment, but
it feels like you gotta go an extra
mile. Some of the sheet, they're the size of Albuquerque. These fucking rinks.
Yeah,
it's big.
Yeah.
In the dub, it's all NHL
it's all
size.
The same. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the dub a little bit.
Sure.
You went into Everett.
Yep.
As a 17-year-old.
That's right.
You scored the first goal in franchise history, man,
yeah,
and I remember it.
Yeah.
Do you want to describe it? You describe it, but because I just watched it.
It's going to be better than it was originally.
Man, I'm pretty sure it was end-to-end bar down.
Yeah.
Next question. No,
Michigan.
No, what it was, well, I got to Everett first. I was actually drafted by Swift Current, and I was supposed to go there as a 16-year-old. So I signed as a 15-year-old, supposed to play as a 15-year-old. I kind of made a BS story why I didn't want to play. That's a different story. I went into camp 16-year-old. My mom was sick that year. I decided, man, I want to. Swift Current's like, if anybody's, it's 15,000 people. Yeah. It's like, give it to my cousin. He played in Kindersley. It's less. But like you drive in Swift Current, you drive out. There's like nothing there. Like I remember you had Ned on this podcast. Ned played for Swift Current. And the people are lovely. They're not putting it down. But it's like, Ned was telling me when they got a Walmart there, everybody was happier than a pig in shit. Like, let's go to Walmart. Let's go to Walmart, right? So anyways, I ended up asking to kind of play closer to home, and I got traded in the expansion draft to Everett with 3 other guys. And yeah, it was the first game of the season. I remember we're in Kamloops, and our trainer comes by and he's like, "Hey, Matic, tell the boys that the puck's going to go in the Hall of Fame." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I'm like, "I think it's the Everett Hall of Fame, right? Don't really think anything of it."
You're
So
in Kamloops or in Everett?
No, we're in Kamloops,
Oh, okay.
right? Because our
Road
rink
game.
wasn't done yet. So we had our first 4 games around the road, right? So we're playing it on the power play, and then all I remember is Mitch Love.
17 years old on the Peeps?
17. Buddy, I was first line. I was actually leading the team in scoring, and then I think I had like 7 points in like 9 games or something. And that back then, that was really good, right? So I was on the power play. Lover throws it on net. Goalie saves it. I'm just at my back to the net. I see, turn around and see the puck right there, and I just get it, shoot the backhand, and put it in. And all of a sudden, it's like I just hear screaming in the stands, and I realize that's my sister who's freaking out because they're at the game. And then we ended up losing the game 4-1. Anyways, and then they took the puck and my stick right away. I'm like, "Oh, I want that stick." No, it's going to the Hockey Hall of Fame. I'm like, Hockey Hall of Fame? I'm like, I thought it was Everett Hall of Fame. He's like, "No, buddy, it's going to the Hockey Hall of Fame," right?
Wow.
So anyways, that was a kind of a whirlwind. We lost the game, whatever. But the funny story was after, our color commentary guy was from Burnaby. His name's Dave Sheldon. I don't know what he's still doing. But I guess the whole organization had a bet to see who was going to score the first goal. And me being a Burnaby boy, he put it on me, and he won the money. I asked him for a cut of it, but never gave it to me. Well, no, but that was the story. So it was good. It was good. It was like a lifetime memory. I'll always remember. And we had a great year that year.
Mitch Love with the assist.
Mitch Lover, yeah.
He's a good guy.
But tough as nails.
When you scored,
yeah.
When did they take that stick from you? On the bench or after the game?
No, on the bench.
Oh, they actually literally took
Yeah,
it
they took
from
it
you.
on the bench. Yeah, they took the puck. And the thing I'm choked about is like that was my first junior goal. I didn't get the puck. I still don't have the puck or the stick, right? So like I don't even have any souvenirs. And the funny thing is I got the first game we played in the Everett Event Center. I don't know what it's called now. Like I took the opening face-off. So there's a picture of me as well. Like they're the panoramic shot, and I'm in the middle taking the face-off. We lost that game 4-1 too, but I got the first assist in that building on 2-on-1, right? So I had a lot of firsts in that thing, but yeah, the puck and the stick they took away from me right away. So it was kind of
Pretty sweet, man. Maybe
Yeah.
you can go visit it in Toronto, right?
yeah. I think they put it away somewhere.
Tell
but
them to send it to you.
Okay,
Yeah, I should.
well, we got a spot here.
Bring it
Yeah, we'll bring it in here. My kids can come visit it.
Is it a
here,
wooden
right?
stick?
Yeah, it was a wood. No, that was the CCM Vector. I had the
Oh,
Vector
the
at that
blue
point,
one.
the blue one. Yeah, when
Nice.
the stickers peel off, right?
All
Wood
right.
stick was probably better.
You mentioned you had a decision to make
Yeah.
to go to Swift Current.
Yeah.
I actually had that same decision.
Yeah,
Swift Current as well. They protected me.
yeah.
But the guy that was trying to recruit me, he was saying we can only sign 2 players, and we already did that at my age.
Yeah.
I forgot what the rule was.
Yeah,
So, but they just kept quiet about eligibility.
yeah.
And I don't know what the rules are now, but you play 1 XC,
You're done.
you're toast.
Yeah.
Is that why why did you stay put?
Okay, so to be honest with you, like I didn't know any better. To me, like, you know, I played when I went to the Winter Club. I was playing at the Winter Club. Like I was on a team, a great bantam team, like won the Westerns, right? So my dad was always like, go to the best league, go to the best league, go to the best league. I was drafted. You know, they wanted me as a 15-year-old. I signed as a 15-year-old. She's like, just go, just go, just go. I didn't know any better, right? The package they gave me was, I didn't know this till after, but a lot of guys, like you get every year you play, you get a scholarship.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys, like when I got my package, it was like you play 1 exhibition game, you get your full year paid for. So I thought that was kind of standard. Then you talk to other guys, and guys are like, no, man, I had to play half a year to get half a season. So you listen to all these different guys, kind of what they got, and I'm like, I actually really got it well, like got it good, right? So for me, it wasn't even an option to go to, tier 2. Like even, like I said, all my cousins, like out of everybody I grew up with, I have my cousin Steven, he went to RIT. Milan and Nad, they went to Michigan State, Nebraska. Iliato, they got Division I scholarships to Colorado. I was the only one who went Major Junior, kind of our group, right? I wanted to get the NHL as fast as I can, and it was my own undoing. Like I kind of screwed myself and shot myself in the foot. But at the end of the day, it was like, my dad grew up watching the Westminster Bruins. He grew up watching this league, and he goes, that's the best way. That's the fastest way. Go there. So
Yeah, that was the most direct route to pro hockey. It's the
Yeah.
closest it is to pro hockey,
Yeah.
right?
All right, guys, that leads me to the main question, debate question, guys. What's the better route? We talked about NCAA. We talked Major Junior. Both avenues lead to the NHL. Let me say it like this. If I'm a phenom, 13, 14 years old right now, today, where am I going?
It's a hard question because there's people who battle like CHL's better or NCAA better. I don't think either or is better. I think right now, I think the NHL is playing more of a NCAA hockey style, where it's more fast, run and gun, kind of less hitting. I'm not saying less. It's not as physical. Back when we were all growing up, man, like the NHL was more clutch and grab, was more physical, was more fighting, was more like Major Junior hockey, right? Now it's not. You can't really, again, I'm a Western League guy, so what am I talking about? But it's like, you can't, it depends for each kid. Like you have guys who, if you look at me and some of my friends, like by the time we were 20, like we were kind of done. Not saying we went to, play CIS or whatever, you could go play pro, go to Europe, whatever, but there's other guys who needed that extra time to be 19, 20, and they got a good 20, like you, Carlo, like saying, or whoever it was, or Marcello, or whoever, like they're all great players, just needed more time. And then they had a better career towards the end. So it just depends on the kid. Like, and it also, it's like you see Connor Bedard, well, he was probably more suited to go to the Western League because he would get there really fast. Like, what's the point of him going 1 year, not even to school? Right? So if you're going to go 1 year now, is there really a point of you to go to do it? And the thing with the Western League compared to schooling too is the thing that's more geared to the NHL is you have that schedule. You have that you're playing in and out, doing this, doing that work. I don't think college has that. I could be wrong. Like
it's
they only play.
Definitely changed.
It has changed. So yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, I don't know that.
I think you're right. I think you hit the one thing. I think you hit on the head is I think every kid's different. And every family's different. You got to be informed. And I said this on our little SFU show we did a couple weeks ago, because this question came up, and you always hear it. And I think you can be pro NCAA, you could be pro WHL, Major Junior. It doesn't really make a fucking difference. It's all based on the kid and the parents being informed and not being hoodwinked to go somewhere where you shouldn't go.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the kid's got to develop at his rate.
Of course.
Right? Some kids hit puberty at 15 and they're 6'2" and 200 pounds. All of a sudden, that 13-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid who hasn't grown, he hits 16, 17, and he becomes a beast and leaves that other guy in the dust. I think it's again, being informed, making the right decisions. The thing I'll push back on, though, is that old mentality of the Western League playing an 80-game schedule and on the bus, and NCAA hockey doesn't play enough games. Well, shit, some of these NCAA games are playing upwards of 40 games. And you're in the facilities you get and the training regiments you get. Like, I don't know how many London Knights, Kamloops Blazers, or Vancouver Giants facilities there are throughout Major Junior. But I could tell you this: every NCAA program at the Division I level has a state-of-the-art gym, or is getting one. State-of-the-art trainers, and so those kids are getting top-end off-ice training and being groomed to be professional athletes.
Yeah.
And I think it's changed a bit. And I think, again, a guy like Connor Bedard, like you said, or Matt Barzell, two kids from right here, they were destined to go to the NHL.
Yeah.
Like they're there. And so, the dub might be the way to go.
Yeah. What's even like, it depends on the player. Like, you could look at Luch. Like, Luch is not a college player. Like, he's not. He's a Western League player. And he played 1,100 games in the NHL because of that, right? It's like, to go back to that, you're right. Some of those barns in the Western League, especially, they're old, like Swift Current. They don't have the money to keep it up. But I think that whole learning to be a professional in the gym and all that, I think that's now kind of going everywhere in hockey.
It's standard,
right?
Standard procedure.
Like all those, like you look at Everett, beautiful gym. The Giants, I don't know what they have in Langley, but all these new rinks are gorgeous.
They
right?
have to. It's a recruiting tool, right?
Yeah, they have to. That's the thing, and it's like that's what I kind of the college thing is like Everett was different. We were a first year team. They loved us. We were like rock stars everywhere. We came out with a splash. Like we did really well for ourselves. But like when I kind of got older and I heard the stories about the college and and all that stuff and what they